I'll do this at a later date right here, though. That's hard, but it's enough of it to where you're gonna be like, yeah, I'll do this at a later date. That's smoking. Always got that fire. Okay, I'm good. Let me see if it leads right down into where I'm going. Woo! Ready to go, y'all. Ready to go. All right. Let me pull up. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. All right, right here. All right. Bingo. Let's get going. Now, if you was here again with the general in the previous video, we see again we're dealing with megalithic. We're dealing with megalithic. We're talking about being carved from one single piece of granite. Okay, and the only place where you can go and see heads. Now, what's so crazy? That's normal. You know what I'm saying? That's normal right there to the left. You know what I'm saying? I got an opportunity to see that statue. It's in Britain. You know what I'm saying? I got an opportunity to see that. And you talking about carved, okay? You talking about the first king. You talking about the first king of Egypt. So you talking about over 5,000 years ago. Now the Olmecs is, approximately, you talking about some of these heads, it was 12, 1500 BC. Okay? So you talking about 3,500 years ago. So again, so the normal one is even older than that. You talking about over close to 6,000 years ago. So when we say where could this knowledge have developed? Because you cannot just develop a knowledge like this in 2 days or 3 days or a year or 10 years or 100 years. Okay? It takes thousands, because this is exquisite. You see what I'm saying? And I can show you people's attempt to try, and they did so bad that they just gave up. And then you can see some people don't have no heads at all. Most people in most cultures around the world ain't got no head. Let alone, to have them exquisitely carved like this. So you see here, Ramesses II, this is at Wadi El Sabur, and in Aswan, in Nubia. Okay? And you see the Olmec head, and you see the lips, you see the nose, and like we must understand that Africans come in all facial, facial characteristics. You got some that are, wide nose, some got a more straight nose. You understand? You got some that got, thick, full lips. Then you got some that got, thin lips. You see, so Africans come in all form of facial characteristics. So we don't want to just say, but we have extreme types that the characteristics only appear predominantly in African people. Okay? And so when I talk about it, I'm not just talking about, just the nose or the lips, because that, it take more than that to prove being an African, even though that combination right there is heavy. That's heavy. You're on your way right there. But then when you get that hair and you get that melanin in, you know what I'm saying? That damn near sums it up. If you get the nose, the lip, and the hair, if you get them 3 attributes together, that damn near sums it up. Okay? If you get that woolly hair on that goddamn head, it's a wrap. Okay? I don't want to hear nothing else. You know what I'm saying? A brother or sister been in the game. You see what I'm saying? So again, we're talking about megalithic structure, not just megalithic structure. We're talking about statues. That's key. You see what I'm saying? Where else do you find in the ancient world heads, exquisitely carved on that level? And we talking about in Egypt, they carving all types. You see, marble, sandstone, limestone, whatever, they mastered all stone. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a stone that they hadn't mastered. So we not only was they megalithic builders, not only were they building, megalithic statues, obelisks, stela, tombs, pyramids, Valley of the King, where you carve out type of architecture. Instead of using stone, you just carve the mountain. You just carve into the stone and build structures into the mountain. Okay? All forms of architecture. So when we talking about the greatest builders of the ancient world, it's no doubt that the Africans of the Nile Valley were the greatest. What are we talking about? When we talk about it, and we talk about high science and technology, where else can you go if you're talking about the greatest scientists, the greatest, civilization and technology? It's criminal not to go to Egypt. It's technically criminal for you not to go to Egypt. You understand what I'm saying? What would make you, and we talking about science, what would make you go to a mound? What would make you go to a teepee? What would make you go, nigga, do you know how long we developed out of that shit in Africa? Yeah, we did that. But goddamn it, this is where we at today. This is what we talking about science and technology of today. We're not talking about no goddamn 400,000 years ago. You understand? When we was in a primitive state, you understand? We was in our earlier stages. We developed out of that hundreds of thousands. So why would we be talking to, that's other people's, primitive, structure, you know what I'm saying, that they was in at that period in time. But at the time where the goddamn Indians was in there and, in America building mounds, we had been out of that fucking stage hundreds of thousands of years ago. So why would, that's like you done graduated, in PhD, and nigga, you go back to kindergarten, nigga, talking about I need to do some makeup work or some shit. What the fuck is you doing? You know what I'm saying? You supposed to be going further and further and further. So I find this shit very disingenuous. And anybody in their right mind, we give credit where credit is due, but that ain't what the fuck we talking about. Being in a world that's progressing so fast today. We got to be dealing with the greatest of our science and technology. And you're not gonna tell me, goddammit, you going back to no mud fucking mound. Nigga, you going backwards. So even though we give credit, give a couple of chapters on, and it's very significant where we show how we develop out of a certain stage, but we're no longer in that goddamn stage. That looks just like back in the day when motherfuckers, was using rocks and shit. We didn't never use, but you use a rock as a hammer or some shit like that. We can't, we didn't develop out of that. And so you give credit with credit and you move forward. So you looking at right here, Amenhotep III. I know y'all seen the general when I was in at the British Museum. I was right there, witnessed the exquisite. Look at the ear. Look at the ear. Look how exquisite that is. So even though the Olmec is, let me tell you, that Olmec head right there is highly exquisite. There's no doubt about it. It is, you know what I'm saying? And it's on the level as the one of Amenhotep III, but the fact that they were crafting that marble and that, that sand and that those beautiful type of stones, you know what I'm saying, to where you can even see the inner ear and the eyelids and all. Come on, man, we talking about extreme